Yunus, just to put the CAF issue into perspective. Um, Joburg International, as an example, is international space. So when you go into Joburg, that's why you see like asylum seekers will spend that space instead of crossing over into South Africa, because Joburg International is an international space. So the CAF fixture is an international space. In other words, when CAF takes over the match, that becomes an international, in other words, you've got to abide by international rules. And a lot of South Africans don't understand that. A lot of South Africans don't know that. They think, oh, well, we're playing a game in South Africa. The ground rules ultimately are CAF driven. CAF is FIFA. So wherever FIFA is, it means it's no longer, territorially it's no longer yours. They take over everything. All laws, all rules, everything. So I think that is the issue in defense of Patrice Motsepe. I don't think it's him as a person. I just think that's the dynamic with regards to, it's like the American embassy.
So it's a CAF policy.
It's
not wear political attire.
No, it's an international policy. So CAF are governed. Remember, CAF is sponsored by Coca-Cola, MasterCard, all the big boys.
And these are Jewish guys, Jewish companies.
Well, we don't know what they are, but they by and large investor oriented. They without a doubt, there are Muslim guys from Qatar, investors. They're Chinese. There are Singaporeans. So that's how the makeup of the world is. The world is driven by a certain amount of money, and the money is primarily Jewish, Japanese, Chinese, Singaporean, Australian, definitely British.
Now I want to stop you there, Sam. And we've got listeners that are hearing us carefully. That when spectators go for a soccer match, a cricket match, a rugby match, for example the World Cup rugby, supporters don the Springbok kufiya, Springbok scarves, and attire to show their support for South Africa. Likewise in India, the recent World Cup, 99% of the stadium wore Indian t-shirts, Indian kufiyas, carried Indian flags, supporting India. It's an international event controlled by the International Cricket Council, and nobody said anything. This particular reverend said that Palestine is affiliated to FIFA, part of whatever, is either CAF or whatever, and he is entitled to support whoever he wants, whichever side. Like, for example, you might find when India played Australia, there were certain spectators that may have worn an English outfit or English kufiya or English cap. Nobody said anything. His comment is, because he wore this Palestinian kufiya and the flag, that his democratic right to support who he wants is being infringed, and he wants the matter investigated. So why are they not restricting, attire for other countries but Palestine only?
If you read the statement, of the Reverend, he says that the security detail said that it's permissible generally, but not permissible because of the conflict. Okay? So obviously, FIFA have taken a decision at FIFA level that because FIFA is known to be apolitical, if you walked in with an Israeli flag, they would have banned you.
But I want to stop you further. A few months ago, there were some international soccer matches that took place in UK and Europe, and a lot of supporters donned the Ukrainian attire and also displayed the Ukrainian flags in an international soccer match. And they were large in number in many stadiums. And because Europe supported Ukraine, there was no action. It is a politically sensitive war that took place. Europe supported Ukraine and others supported Russia. They banned Russia, but they didn't take any action against Ukraine. Isn't that basically a contradiction or bias towards particular nations?
It's a very, very fair point. And for the listener, we've seen a vote in Parliament. Because remember, all decisions are based on a vote, consensus. I have absolutely no doubt that FIFA, the voting structure, is a lobbying structure and is based on who's got the most money.
So they may have allowed that and not allowing this.
Precisely. So what may have happened, and unfortunately we're speculating, but a speculation is correct, that there's been lobbying, like what happened when we were supposed to get the World Cup for 2006. What happened? A guy from New Zealand was lobbied, and we never got the World Cup. It went to somebody else. So lobbying takes place, and money determines who lobbies who. And money drives the world, right? And because the Yanks support the Ukrainians and support the Israelis, with no disrespect to, we're not taking sides
They
of
would determine policy based on that.
policy.
So it's a biased policy.
Policy will always be determined by who has the deepest pockets, right? The reason why you see currently, and I think Faisal spoke about it, that there's a shift in political funding away from the ANC, precisely because of policy. Who determines policy? Lobbyists. The guy with the deepest pockets. But the challenge remains, and this is factual. You see, you can have all the money in the world, but you can't change the hearts of people. And so money might be the determinant, but it's not the only factor, because people determine destiny. People put people in power. For example, Joe Biden won the election in 2020. Go look at the polls now. Donald Trump has about 5 indictments, between 4 and 6 indictments, court cases, but he's leading in the polls because it's people who determine the ultimate destiny, not money.
So, Samuel, it is abundantly clear that Motsepe took a position to avoid, because obviously the match will be televised worldwide, and obviously he's now requested the guards that I don't want any controversial flags to be displayed. And obviously there's an individual who happened to be a reverend, so he's a Christian, he likely to be a Christian individual, that said, I support the plight of the Palestinians, it's a humane thing. And here you've got a billionaire coming in, as you rightly said, he's linked up with some prominent companies, towing the line of the West, and calling this guy to order over a simple issue like a kufya and a flag. And I noticed in 2 matches recently, and we need to just comment on it, that in the Premier League,